peculiar episode of Press Any Key. I am your normal master of ceremonies, Pat Knapp. With me, as always, is my dedicated co-host coming in all the way from states away, ladies and gentlemen, Nick McFly.
Woo! We got no
drops today. I am literally rolling on my laptop and like I said before to Nick, a 720p LG TV to get this fucking going. So
With it works. Back.
Yeah, it's got it's got a Trump dumper on it, man. Like you are fucking talking about.
It's got a thick dumpy.
Yeah. Speaking of thick dumpies, since I'm in Florida, I'm always trying to bring up how hot Ron DeSantis is in front of my family down here. And
I'm sure that goes over well with them.
Well, my cousins who are younger get it, but my aunt was just like, "What do you mean he's hot?" Like, I also showed her Hassan Piker, and she thinks he's hilarious, and she also thinks he's attractive. So it definitely
he's a cutie.
He's a good guy. He's a good-looking guy. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and tell him he's not, because the man is a himbo, but he's a good-looking guy.
You can't deny it. I'm actually curious. I want to know more about that poster you got behind you.
I'll do some white lady shit. You know how it is. It's always like, you know, like dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening. And like maybe that's kind of the problem, is that like
that is the problem.
They should have someone
everyone's living like they're the main character of the whole entire world.
Everybody's living this shameless life. No, you should have some shame. It'll definitely pick things up.
Do you see the new video that I came up on my Reddit right before we jumped on? It's like Marjorie Taylor Greene auditioning for American Idol.
Dude, I could not believe that existed.
It's definitely not her, but I mean, like, that's it. Like, they had me sold for a minute.
Scary.
I was like, holy shit.
It's scary. And like, here's the thing though too, is that like, had that actually been her, I would have bought that immediately. I'd been, of course, she tried out for American Idol. She is crazy enough to think that she's that talented. Of course, I mean, if she
just wants to be in front of a camera all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know, but she's also out of her mind. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, speaking of out of my mind, we bought tickets to Disney on a whim the other day. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm in Florida right now. Most people probably don't. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you definitely do. But I'm in Florida right now, and we flew into Tampa because my family lives just.
Boy, my arm's tired.
Fuck you. So we flew into Tampa, and the reason that we come here is like my cousins are only about 45 minutes outside of Tampa. From here to Orlando, it's about an hour and a half drive without traffic, right? So we flew in on Wednesday. Thursday we hung out, you know, just did whatever, just saw people, like had pizza with my nieces and all that shit. And then Friday they had...
You mean the COVID carriers?
That's right. And Friday, I mean, I don't know if they have COVID. It's just... Then on Friday, on Friday they went, they had like school and shit, and like everybody was busy. So on a whim, I was just like, let's see, like if we were going to drive an hour and 10 minutes somewhere in Tampa, like I think it was like the aquarium or something, it was only an additional like 10 minutes to go to Disney. So I was like, let's just do it. Like we're already here. Yep. They're having a sale, surprisingly. So for I mean, I won't say how much it cost because it was still an exuberant amount of money for a one day.
That's the same amount as a small wedding.
I think I might have went to one of those recently. Anyway, so I get that, and I get the park hopper, because the two things was I haven't been to Magic Kingdom since like 2004, and I haven't been to Disney Hollywood Studios since it was called MGM Studios, and since before that I haven't been there since like the fucking 90s. Like it's not an exaggeration. Like it had been decades since I've been to either of these parks.
The last time I was there, or was this Universal? Am I getting mixed up? Either way, I went on the Mummy ride, and I went on the Men in Black ride, and I was like, it's the 90s all over again.
Those are very Disney properties, Nick. Okay, Men in Black was a very family-friendly movie.
That's true, yeah.
No, that was Universal. But I mean, I did that last October, so I was like, well, I'm not going back there. But anyway.
Never again.
But anyway, we go... we get there like 30 minutes after they opened. Since we went after all the kids were gone, there was like no lines besides for Rise of Resistance. we get on Rise, like we get there. That's the first fucking ride we go to in the morning is Rise of Resistance. Let's just wait on that one because like I didn't know if we were gonna get express passes for it or like however it works. So like, do you know anything about like the way the Disney park works now? It's absolutely wild.
I watched. Did you ever see the? There's a YouTube channel, the Defunct Land.
Yeah.
I watched their whole series on all the Disney parks and how that system became just like even more fucked up than just not giving out express passes.
So I gotta say this though. If you have a brain and you are on it in the park, that shit is incredible. I waited on
I don't want to think when I'm on vacation.
But dude, all right. So Liz calls it Vacation Dad Pat. She was like, Vacation Dad Pat came out. And so
VDP.
VDP was here. So I would get on the line for we got on the line for Rise of Resistance. And it said 85 minutes. I was like, fuck it, let's just wait. I'm not here to do anything else today but go on these two fucking rides. So I was like, everything else is a plus. So we get on the line, and on the line, I check out the app and I see like, how do we buy express passes? Turns out it's only an extra $15 per ticket to upgrade to this thing called the Lightning Pass, right? Which means you can reserve your spot in the virtual queue for any ride that you want. Like it's through a time frame. So it's like an hour like chunks or whatever. So Rise of Resistance was the only ride that wasn't covered by the Flash Pass, or I call it Flash Pass because we have Six Flags. But if you wanted to add it, it was an additional $15 per ticket for that ride.
On top of the other
on top of the money I already spent. Yeah. So I was like, whatever, we're already here. Let's just wait on it. We're waiting in line, and the line only actually took like 40 minutes. It did not take an hour and a half. So that was a very nice surprise. And let me tell you something. That is one of the craziest fucking rides I have ever been on. Not like thrashy and like thrill rides type of thing. Yeah. But the special effects that they like implement. The part where the saber is coming through the roof is absolutely wild. I could not believe.
Would you rank this ride better than the 3 sequel movie sequel trilogy movies?
Actually, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, damn, imagine if this shit was around when the original trilogy was. And I was like, oh, Star Tours is still a thing. But they redid that with all of the new characters too. Kylo Ren is the villain in every ride at Disney World. Which
he's the character that you're gonna make the most money.
Exactly. I mean, out of all of the new ones, for sure.
What are you gonna do, Snoke? Oh, his torso is just sitting there.
I got accosted by stormtroopers, which is what I was waiting for. I've seen videos of that for years. I'm like, oh, here they come. You
got the pat down?
I was like, here they come. I'm hoping they and they didn't say it to me, but they said it to a guy next to me. Like I was right there, man. This is one of those stories like I was there. But he looks at him and he goes, even if there was a Last Jedi, you're not him, and like kept walking. I was like, that is an amazing burn. How do they get the voices, though? That's what I want to know, because those actors definitely aren't speaking. You know what I mean? I think there's somebody monitoring what's going on.
They just got a button, they click.
The Millennium Falcon just started like shooting out like CO2, and then Rey stepped out of the fucking.
A bunch of people died. Yeah, too much CO2 in the air.
Rey steps out of the cockpit, and I guess
porgs.
What? No, there was Porg toys, but I didn't see any in the park.
But none in the Millennium Falcon.
None. I'll put a picture of it in here, and I'll put it on our Instagram. The actress that they got to portray Rey does not even close to Daisy Ridley.
That's I'm not looking for.
No, I mean I didn't see her, and I was like, get out of here. You know what I mean?
Bullshit.
I'm just saying that like they didn't even try, but she is British, so that is important. She does have the accent. Yeah.
It's more about embodying the spirit of the character.
Oh, dude, I as far as embodying like the spirit of the theming of Star Wars, they got that shit. Like it's unbelievable. I felt like I was on, of course, fucking Tatooine. Like
the only thing they got.
But when I was in Rise of the Resistance, I was like, yo, I'm on a Star Destroyer right now. This is sick. I was like, I was like, I am bugging out right now. And then,
I don't want to go to Disney, but I do want to do that.
And then that room opens up where it's like, you've been on this ride, or was it Gringotts you were telling me about that you were on?
I did the Gringotts
Okay.
ride, yeah.
All right, so that's what it was. But because the whole time I was thinking, I was like, Nick Haberstroh was on this, and he didn't fucking say anything to me about how crazy this is. So,
dude, you know I would have been talking about that.
The animatronics are nuts. Obviously, they got the actors to come back for some stuff. The holograms are unbelievable.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Is it just like Steam?
I have no idea. I looked for a projector. I looked for a screen. I couldn't find one. That was a legitimate hologram. I also heard from my buddy who is a friend who has a friend who is an Imagineer that they are working on a lightsaber. Like, they are working on a real lightsaber, not one that's gonna.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, you know.
Just how about let's do real holograms first and then see where we're at.
So, their BB-8 droid was incredible. That was like the real BB-8. I couldn't believe how he moved around like so seamlessly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, either way, though, when the whole point of the ride is you're on a transport and you get abducted by a Star Destroyer. You get pulled in by the tractor beam. So you're on this ship and it clearly moves from one place to another, but it feels like you're in space. When you get off, the doors open up and it's a Imperial officer. Okay. And they start funneling people off and you're in the bay, like the ship bay. Bro, when you walk out, there's like 4 lines of stormtroopers. And in the back is the fucking opening to like where space is, like where the ships come in and out. Yeah. And there's TIE fighters flying back there, and there's fucking X-wings and shit like coming by, and they're shooting. It's absolutely wild. I was like, I'm here. I was like, this is the closest I'm ever gonna get, but like I'm here. So.
Now, what was the cue to like? It was all themed, and I'm assuming you were like prisoners of the Empire and shit.
Yeah, we were helping the Resistance. So,
okay. You know, I think it'd be better if that would make sense. You're in this long line, and people in a confined area. It's like you're a prisoner of the Empire. Get in line.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there was one part where in this big room, like everyone starts taking selfies, and like I got a video and everything. But then Liz is like, let's get a picture. So we go to take a selfie. And then one of the Imperial officers comes over to us and it goes, I think he said something of like, it was like, step lively or like some shit like that. Like basically an Imperial officer just being like, get the fuck out of here because we got another fucking. Yeah, exactly. But it was a great ride. It was, I mean, it's this weird thing where you're like sitting in like these big cars, like 4 people per line, but there's no tracks. It's all done on like magnets and shit. Like you're moving around like the floor. How do they work? You get shot at by one of those big walker things. Kylo Ren uses the Force on you, dude. The what's his name? Donald Gleason.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Donald Glover's animatronic is insane. John Boyega's animatronic, the Finn animatronic. He was the only one that looked a little wonky, and that's because he just kind of came out of nowhere. Everything else they warmed you up to, like when you end up in the control room and you see all the fighting taking place out the window, and like you see Kylo Ren standing like, who's the spy from the new trilogy, the redheaded Donald Gleason's character.
Oh, Hux.
Hux,
right?
Hux is there. They're both animatronics, but they're facing away from you so you don't see their faces, so they look incredible.
Like they should have done to Tarkin in Rogue One.
John Boyega, though, all of a sudden, like, you're about to get smoked by a bunch of stormtroopers, and then there's, like, an explosion and everything. When the car pulls back to get you into the elevator, Finn is behind a piece of cover, and, like, he's, like, and now you can see him because you're behind the cover, too. And man, that boy looked rough. I mean, like, it was one of those like Hall of Presidents things. Like,
did you do the Hall of Presidents?
No, I didn't go to Epcot. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's on my list too. I need to see that as well.
The updates they've made.
Yeah. But basically, you know, just overall, the ride is great. It's a great fucking ride. I'm so glad it exists. The future of Star Wars is not television. It's not movies. It's in fucking Disney World.
It's sad, but at least it's better than the movies that we got.
Yeah, and then there was that Smuggler's Run thing. Kind of cool. We found out Liz can't drive a Millennium Falcon. You know, who can? Then we
That's
did.
why you gotta hire a pilot.
Well, we were the pilots.
Yeah, but who's hiring you and Liz, though?
Because one does left and right and one does up and down, and she gets hyperspace. So at one point, like, I'm flying, like, us through space left and right, dodging all this shit, and she's running into everything that is possible. She gets the first hyperspace. Then when they tell us, Pilot 2, hyperspace now to get us out of here, I reached over her and I pulled it, and we jump into hyperspace. I look at her, and mind you, we're in a ship full of people because there's like 2 gunners and 2 engineers who have to like fix the ship.
Okay, so you're working with other people.
Yeah, so I pull it, and we're flying through hyperspace, and I just look at her and I go, I just wanted to do that. Like, I want to do hyperspace once.
Tell me about the Navi world.
I didn't get there.
Oh, good. Okay.
I didn't get
good.
there.
I don't want you to go there.
Okay. I've been to Animal Kingdom before, but
not Animal Kingdom. We're talking about James Cameron's disaster area.
Pandora?
Pandora, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think
they have a Pandora theming.
You told me there was people walking around.
Oh, yeah, dude. There's plenty of people. Yes, there was plenty of people, like, cosplaying all day as all sorts of shit. But I saw plenty of fucking Avatar shirts. I saw plenty of Avatar merch.
Who are these people?
I saw plenty of Avatar, like, people excited. Like, they're out there, bro. They're out there. And you're going to see them in September and December. So...
Is that how, wait, are those movies coming out that close?
September, they're releasing the remaster.
The re-release, okay.
The remaster. Yeah. They updated all the textures and everything. I was like, all right, let's check it out.
The first one was so great. The textures were so great, awesome. Why you gotta update them, James?
Oh, okay. Now you're gonna join that crowd. Here's good.
Zack Snyder's releasing anything right now, so I gotta pick on James Cameron.
Who is the other one? I'm trying to think of. So yeah, either way, after that, I think at 2:30 we were able to switch over because I bought the Park Hopper shit to Magic Kingdom. Boy, that is a fucking hike and a half. You drive to Magic Kingdom because Disney World Resort is like a whole section of Florida in and of itself. So we drive over to Magic Kingdom. Thankfully, if you paid for parking in one park, you just have to show them your receipt and you get free parking in all the other parks. So we go over that. Honestly, dude, I have no complaints about Disney World. I know there's a lot of people who are like, it's so expensive, it's so this, but I guess I just went on the right day because I had a great fucking time.
And the way I put it into perspective is like, you think about all the little things, like all the buses that are there, like all the bus drivers have to drive those buses, all the people have to clean the bus. Like, just think about the transportation alone. That's a huge fucking operation. That's like a municipality.
Every employee I interacted with was pleasant. They were kind. They knew all the information. If they didn't, they knew the guy to go to. Like, I saw some guy with a shirt and tie. I was like, this fucking guy definitely runs some shit over here. Let's ask him. I was like, hey, where's a restaurant where we can sit down and eat? He's like, oh, well, right here we got this. They got a great menu.
He's like, how do you know me, brother?
He's like, and right over here we got another one. You know, like, this guy is fucking on it. And everyone at that park was on it all day long. Like, I can't like
the most highly trained workforce in the entire country.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
More than NASA.
So once you get to the parking lot, you got to get on a tram. You take the tram to the monorail. You take the monorail that goes through a fucking hotel now because there's a monorail station in the hotel. Like, you can just walk out of your bedroom and go to a monorail and get to the Magic Kingdom or Epcot.
How much money does that cost?
I looked into it today. There's nothing. It's all booked out the rest of the year, so I can't even tell.
That's a pretty penny, I'm sure.
Well, I looked into 4 days for just me.
Some drunk guy walked out of his room and got hit by a monorail.
four days in Disney, like all 4 parks, like 1 park per day, staying in one of the hotels, like one of the lower end hotels on Disney for 2 adults, is $2,100. That's really not that bad for what I got.
I think you're gonna say $21,000.
No, it wasn't that bad at all. It's really
actually
it's pretty reasonable for. And you want to know what, dude? It's reasonable because I experienced it. I got to finally see what the hubbub was, and you get to Magic Kingdom, you get off the monorail, there's the fucking flowers and the tower, and then you'll walk in and you see the castle, and you're like, holy shit. So here's the other thing. You're so overwhelmed, you have no fucking idea what's going on. You like, I had no idea where to go. Like, there's just so much shit.
This doesn't sound fun.
Well, I mean, I was just overwhelmed with excitement. You know what I mean? I was like, well, we gotta go.
What happened to VDP?
Well, okay. So VDP came out because I figured out that when you buzz into one of the lightning lanes, right? Like, because you just have to take your phone. You could have any app open. You don't even have to have it unlocked. Your ticket,
it's like a fucking Bed Bath & Beyond coupon.
Yeah, your tickets, your tickets are on that shit. So you walk up to one of the poles at Disney, and they'll just scan you in, and like, when you're online for that current ride, you can book your next ride. So
that makes sense.
So we get to Magic Kingdom, and they're like, "Hey, Magic Kingdom's closing at 6." And I was like, this says 11 till on the app." And they're like, "That's for people who are staying for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party." And I was like, "All right, well, fucking upgrade my tickets. I'm already here. Let's go." And he was like, "Oh, we're sold out all the way straight through to like mid-October, so we can't upgrade your ticket." I was like, "Fuck, all right, next time." So either way, though, we get to Magic Kingdom. Lightning, fucking bro, it hit the ground. It had to be at least 300 yards away. Like,
not lightning pass. You're talking about actual lightning.
No, actual lightning. Lightning hit the ground like it was an absolute downpour, right? So two things happen. One, Disney shuts off all the outside rides, right? No, outside rides are
people on them.
Outside rides are done, and we were on our way to Big Thunder Mountain, right? So I was like, all right, well, fuck, I guess we're not doing that one. What do you want to do next? And I was like, well, Pirates is right there. Let's fucking get on that. Like, we're standing Johnny Depp, right? So we hit Pirates. While I'm on the line for Pirates, I book Peter Pan, and that's where like all the next section of rides in. So we do Pirates. We get out, we hit Peter Pan. We buzz into Peter Pan. We book It's a Small World. We get out of that. We walked on every single ride. Like, I'm talking, I was booking shit so fast. I even got to the point where I was like, oh, I got a better idea. I deleted this one, and I got an earlier time for this, and I bought it. So now we'll just go sequentially. There's no time in between. We fucking did every ride in Magic Kingdom besides for Big Thunder Mountain in 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's fucking impressive. Destroyed that park. That lightning pass is worth every fucking dollar, because I paid $15 for it, and I used it in 2 fucking parks.
Yeah. What was that ride with, it looked like a projection of like old-timey Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse? Okay. What was that?
So this is a new ride in Disney Hollywood Studios. I didn't know it was a new ride. It's called Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, right? And originally it was called the Movie Ride. I'm not sure if you remember that. It takes place in the mock Chinese theater in Disney Hollywood Studios. So this ride is styled the exact same as Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance. It's the same type of ride with like, you're in these big cars, you know what I mean? As opposed to like magnets. How the fuck do they work? It's the same style of ride, but they have made a Mickey and Minnie version of it. And basically, bro, they do Goofy so dirty in this fucking cartoon. He's the John Boyega of that ride. So what happens is, Goofy, I guess, is a fucking train engineer now, and he is cracked out, bro. His eyes are yellow as these fucking walls. His teeth are so far apart. Like, I don't know who the fuck, like, drew Goofy for this ride, but that's not the Goofy I know. So, Goofy apparently is the employee of the month at his own railroad company, so good for him. And, Pluto ends up getting caught in the trunk of Mickey and Minnie's car. And when they go over a railroad bump, he flies out of the trunk and ends up on this train. So for them to save Pluto, they got to go after this runaway train. So that's like the story behind it. So the whole ride is you're on this train while Mickey and Minnie are trying to catch up to it to save Pluto and stop Goofy from, being an idiot. And the way that they did it was like they updated the colors and the animation, but they did it in the style from like Steamboat Willie age.
There's a new Mickey cartoon which I think is in that style.
Oh, okay, so that would make sense. Yeah. either way though, that was also not like my only critique of Disney is that there's not a lot of thrill rides, but there's such good special effects and there's
Hmm.
so much pageantry on display while you're in the park that it's hard not to get nostalgic for like the shit you liked as a kid when you're in Disney. Like It's a Small World, I fucking hate that ride, but I will go on that ride every fucking
You
time I'm there.
cannot go
You
on it.
can't not go. You can't not go. The Winnie the Pooh ride, like Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan, and The Little Mermaid are the same fucking ride. They are the same style of ride. Get in this fucking thing. We're all going on a trip, right? And we're just watching the movies. We're just watching scenes from the movies as this thing spins. You know what I mean? Like that's all it is. But I mean, like the Haunted Mansion was cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Like they updated some stuff.
Theater.
What'd you say? Dude, I made that joke the whole way, and not even my own
That's
girlfriend thought
no
it was.
question.
Not even my own girlfriend thought it was funny, and that's what disappoints me. I was like, I haven't seen Eddie Murphy yet, and even Liz was like, we should watch the movie. I was like, the movie's based off the ride, right? And like the ride is better than the movie.
Well, also Pirates of the Caribbean is based off the ride,
Yeah.
but they stuck Johnny Depp in there. I want some Eddie Murphy.
Well, Nick, I'm sorry, but not everyone seems to put the Haunted Mansion movie on the same level as the first Pirates movie. Um,
Yeah, well, I
um,
understand why.
and you know, want to know what, dude? I commend Disney. They didn't take Johnny Depp out of that ride. Johnny Depp's
They
he's still a very big featured part of that ride. They've
we
they've
spent a lot of money on this.
they've cleaned that ride up a bit though. Like there's less sexual harassment from the pirates.
Well, that's good.
And I don't know if you remember that the have you ever been to Walt? We've been to Walt Disney World, right?
I went 2017 or 18, I think.
Okay. So, do you know how the ladies? Oh, so you might when we were
This is-
kids. When
I
we were
think I think
kids.
there's a female character who was like, objectified and they made her like a captain or something. They like
Um,
upgraded her.
I'm not entirely sure of that, but what I do know is that the pirates used to chase the ladies around the island, like, "Come here, lady, I'm gonna," and then what they did now is instead it's the pirates stealing stuff, and the ladies are chasing them with like stuff to hit them with, or it's like, uh,
Frying pan.
yeah, some shit like that. I don't know. They cleaned it up. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah.
That's that. Like I said, I'm not upset about that. It was fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a fucking ride.
it's
The
a
same
fucking
thing with
ride.
with the Splash Mountain, right? It's like it's the same fucking ride. They just
Oh,
took a couple elements out.
only ride I didn't do was Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only ride I didn't do. Liz went on it, but now this is twice. I have a history of going to Florida theme parks, walking Liz up to the gate of the biggest roller coaster, and being like, you know what? I'm sorry. I just can't do this.
My heart can't do it.
It's not even. I was cleared medically. They're like, yeah, go on it. And like I've done like King Ka and shit like that.
Have you
But
done
like,
Busch Gardens down there?
yeah, actually, when I was at SeaWorld camp, I did Busch Gardens.
Dude, that place is so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't been there since like 2003.
I went down to Florida. My grandmother was going to my cousin's wedding and she was just like didn't feel like flying alone. She was an old lady, so she was like, "Nick, come with me." So I wound up going down there, and my cousins were like, "We're going to Busch Gardens tomorrow. Do you want to come?" And I hadn't seen my cousins since we were like real little kids. So we get to Busch Gardens, and my one cousin pulls out like a pen. He's like, "Here, take a hit of this." I'm riding the roller coaster stoned with my cousins. I was like, "This is the best trip ever." I'm so glad I went to Florida with my grandma.
Well, let's just say I ingested something before we went on It's a Small World, and it fucking kicked me in the ass as we entered the first tunnel, and they're all just like,
Cheese?
"It's a small world after all," and I'm like, ah, like. It was rough. I was like, I didn't think It's a Small World would be a white knuckle ride, but goddamn it,
I didn't think that'd be the one that got me.
they got me. It's a Small World got me. Um, so yeah, and then after that we just went to Senor Frogs because I mean,
What you
dude,
do?
there's so much shit to do in Orlando that I was just like, honestly, instead of California for my bachelor party, Maybe we come to Orlando because, like, even if we wanted to do a day at Disney, you can still go to Disney during the day, leave at 7, take a nap, and then bar hop on Disney's property. Like, they have a bunch of bars and shit that you can just go to.
You sound like a young man right now.
I
I'm too
know.
old for that shit.
I know. And then there was also there was like some weird shitty like theme parks in the area and stuff like that. And like when we found out that we couldn't get into the Mickey Halloween party, which, like, how lame. Like, you get denied at the door for Mickey's Halloween party. He's like, you can't come.
Fucking lame.
Bro, I dabbed up Goofy so hard at a character breakfast. He's so fucking embarrassed. Liz was in the bathroom, and I had to go get something.
After the train incident.
We were at a character breakfast. I mean, a character lunch, right? Because that was the only thing that had availability for us to sit down and eat. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Was it a bunch of kids?
No, there was adults. You know, it was like a Halloween party thing. It was Minnie's Halloween party. Like Mickey gets the whole park. Minnie got a restaurant at Disney Hollywood Studios for like 4 hours. You know, equal.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, so they're all dressed in like Halloween like attire and everything. Liz goes to the bathroom and I gotta go get like a spoon or something because we had a buffet and whatever the fuck, I don't know. So I go and Goofy is in my fucking way. So I go to go left and he goes left. I go to go right and he goes right. And then on this third one, I went like this on him, like that. And all these, the kids at the table next to me and the two people, and they were like, "Duh!" like that. And Goofy was like, you know, he did that whole thing. I was like, "Get out of here, Goofy!"
He kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, Goofy!" But yeah, and then I was trying to fight Mickey. Then they took me out of the restaurant. But anyway, but yeah,
that's when Liz went on Splash Mountain by herself.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess that's the my summary or my synopsis here is that I know a lot of people think that like getting to Disney World and doing Disney is extremely complicated. But I got to tell you something. From the moment I bought the tickets and made the reservation, because you buy tickets and then you reserve what day you want to go. The moment I bought the tickets and made the reservation and like it was explained to me how the pass worked and how I could use it in the park and how I could buy shit on my phone and our food would be ready. You know, shit like that. So, when you're in there, it's fucking sick. It works. It's quality.
You want to hear about my weekend?
I do.
I went over to Ryan's house today, and we did demolition. We tore down the panels on the basement walls and took out the basement ceiling drywall. There you go. That was my exciting weekend.
Did you guys have a lightning pass for that?
Well, the power went out, so we had to use flashlights, and we got around the basement.
Huh.
But we did. I did get to jump in his new pool, so that was cool.
Interesting.
So a lot more exciting than your weekend.
So just a recommendation: turn your headphones down because your microphone's picking it up. I can hear me.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh,
is that better?
Let me try talking. Let me see if I can hear myself. No, I'm good now. All right. Anyway, I could just hear myself faintly, and I realized that's all. Anyway, but yeah, man, it was good, and I'm glad that we did it. And now we're looking into coming and actually like staying longer. So if I have that feeling, they did a good job. So
they did a good job.
It was good. I'm glad I went.
Kings of customer service.
Only other thing is that Senor Frogs is like I've been to that restaurant in 3 different countries in 3 different time zones, all the same vibe. All the same vibe. Why? Because
did we talk about Eddie Burback's video about going to every single rainforest cafe in the United States?
Yeah, I think we did talk about this video.
You should check the video out. It's fucking incredible.
Well, that was the thing. It was like Senor Frogs is like this weird thing where it's like they have one in Orlando, they have one in Nassau in the Bahamas, and they had one I think in Cancun when I was there. So I've done those 3 at least, and the one in Orlando was absolutely wild. It couldn't decide at 9 o'clock if it wanted to be a restaurant or if it was like, let's turn up, motherfuckers. Because when it hit 9 o'clock, the waitresses started coming around with shots and offering shots. Some guy walked up to me and goes, "My man, you want a hookah for you and your lady?" I was like, I am good, man. We got fucking quesadillas and water over here. All right. I don't think we're the party table.
You're talking to Vacation Dad Pat right now. All
exactly. Right? Exactly. And then they already were playing drinking games up on the stage, and they were like, "We are not responsible for what you or your babies might see on this stage or dance floor tonight." I was just like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. So then we drove home, and of course everybody's trying to leave Orlando, so it took us like an extra like 40 minutes to get home. So it was whatever. It was worth it. And like, yeah, Disney's good. Disney's good. I would like to go back, and I'd like to go with more of my friends so we can have good times.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll post some pictures. I don't know. All right. So what else?
Now to the topic.
Actually, hold on. Before we start, I didn't know that Rick and Morty was starting tonight. Rick and Morty season 6.
I didn't either.
However,
that came first.
I have been binging season 5 all day yesterday, or at least last night when we were home. Dude, that show's so fucking great. I can't believe. Yeah. I can't wait. That and
I feel
House
like that seasons 4 and 5 got kind of like disrespected. 4, I did think it was a little bit like mid, but 5, I thought most of the episodes were top tier. Maybe, you got incest baby episode. That was a little weird, but
even though I still remember it because it's season 5, episode 1 of Rick and Morty is literally one of the greatest episodes of Rick and Morty.
Which episode is that?
That's the Dark Child one.
The Dark Child
with Nimbus and everything.
Mr. Nimbus.
Mr. Nimbus. And he's like all sexual and everything. Yeah. I love that joke. Like, there's no explanation. It's just like, I told you. Like, I guess what I was like showing like Liz that episode. I was like, I've already watched this, but this is amazing. You need to see it. The time dilation in that episode is still just as hilarious, and the whole a whole empire rises and falls in the time that Morty is just trying to like watch a movie with Summer. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
To finally complete this life mission of getting with Summer.
Yeah, I know.
And not Summer. Oh no, that'd be weird. That's his sister.
Oh yeah, what?
Jessica.
Oh, that's right. And the episode starts with they're about to die, and Morty's just like, I'm cool with us dying here. And then Jessica calls him to hang out, and that gives him a reason to live. Yeah. It's hilarious. I never noticed that. There was also a quick, I never noticed Rick's quick jokes until I, rewatch episodes. Like the Show Me What You Got episode when he's like, by the way, all the astronauts that you had out in orbit right now are definitely dead. There's that. But this one, there was one where Jerry's trying to get a threesome with Mr. Nimbus. And Rick just goes before Nimbus shows up, he just goes, there are both cyanide capsules in your teeth. Do with that information as you will. Morty, let's go. Just real quick stuff. So great. I'm glad it's back. Everybody should watch it. Listen, we don't really cover it on the show because it's great. Even if there's misses, it's generally great all the time. So just watch that shit. If everybody wanted to do let's talk Rick and Morty episode, that's fine. To cover it all, but there's no reason to go episode. There's no reason to go episode by episode or even cover season because it's so good. It's all so good.
Yeah.
But speaking of,
but what we will talk about.
Speaking of maybe not great, but still pretty good, was Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power. First two episodes.
We made it.
First two episodes are available right now on Amazon Prime.
Can we start with? I really like the Amazon Prime intro sequence with all the stacking layers.
Yes, I like that swoosh. As well. Yes,
beautiful animation. Just pointing that out.
I would also like to. I mean, the first thing I just want to say is that number one, this had Amazon's largest premiere of all time with 25 million streams.
So they have.
I mean, this is they have The Boys. They had that Jack Ryan show for a bit. They had it. Dude, this is their Stranger Things. You know what I mean? This is their Game of Thrones. This is the one they've been waiting for. It's been well received by critics at 83%. By Quidditch. 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's right around the same score of House of the Dragon, which is their main competitor right now for airtime. And the fans have given this a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
I do not know anything about Lord of the Rings past playing one of the video games. I can't see in any world a show that looks this good, sounds this good. The acting is phenomenal across the board. I mean, the writing is a bit stilted, but I guess that's like it's the type of thing it is. You know what I mean? Like it has to be that whole like Shakespearean philosophical, like you really need to pay attention to what they're saying type of dialogue. It's not like quick and snappy like The Boys in modern day. But like the story doesn't have enough for me to sink my teeth in yet, but I can't imagine that that's worth the 37%. Everything else in this fucking show is immaculate.
Well, so I know a bit more about Lord of the Rings than you do, but still
tell
not
me.
a lot. But from what I understand is that Amazon got the rights to a lot of secondary writings by Tolkien. So obviously you have the main trilogy, you have The Hobbit, and then there's other works that exist in the world of Middle-earth. The main writing would be the Silmarillion, which you may have heard about before.
No.
It's like a it's like a compendium of other things that happen in the universe, and like a history of the gods, and how it's almost like, you could say, almost call it like the Lord of the Rings Bible.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that they did not get the rights to.
Got it.
So they can't use a lot of the stuff. They can use characters that exist in the Silmarillion, but they can't use storylines and plot points that exist in there.
Okay.
So it's like going against certain things that exist in there, and a lot of people are saying, well, if you're gonna do, like, why bother if you can't take these stories? Like, we want to see the world of Tolkien. We don't want to see Amazon's fan fiction.
Yeah.
So I get there's little things like in Tolkien's world, the female dwarves are indistinguishable from the male dwarves. They all have beards. They look pretty much the same. And in this one, obviously, you have feminine dwarves. So it's like ranging little stuff like that, and then there's bigger things like characters having different backstories,
okay.
and so that's where a lot of the contentiousness comes from it.
I did not realize that, and I'm willing to obviously go on the record, and my whole thing was just like, how can you hate something you don't even know that they're gonna, like, you don't even know what it's like? Because dude, there's been vitriol against this since its announcement. People have made entire YouTube careers about talking about how big of a piece of shit this is going to be.
Empires have risen
and fallen in between the time that we have just tried to record one podcast about the first two episodes. And I mean, it's just strange to me how someone is so willing to be like, listen, the MCU is not a direct from the comic books. You know what I mean?
But the difference here is the MCU, or the actual comic books, have gone through so many different regenerations, and like, all right, we're gonna start from scratch.
I get that we're conditioned. We're more conditioned for it than like Tolkien fans would probably be, but also at the same time, it's just like, man, really, like, you're gonna throw away the baby with the bathwater right now, because the show is, dude. It's not a strong first episode. There are cool moments in it, and it sets up a lot of story beats, but it's not a strong pilot. The second episode,
the best thing it's got going for it is just that it looks spectacular. It looks incredible, and it looks like it's the same care was taken that the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies. It's they actually went out and hired hundreds of extras to fight in battle scenes and stuff, and it wasn't just CGI it.
Now, what'd you but I mean, what'd you think of that second episode as compared to the first one? I mean, not details. Let's just do non-spoilers, and then we can go on spoilers.
Again, I'm not really sure where the plot's going yet. I'm not really. I do think I forget a lot of the characters' names already. I'm not super invested in many of them. The only people I really felt like, I like these characters were I couldn't tell you their names, but the Prince Dwarf and his wife were the two of the most endearing characters, and I was like, oh yeah, these guys are great. Dude,
Galadriel has the sickest plotline going right now. Her whole thing where she's like, I'm gonna avenge my brother and kill Sauron is cool as fuck. And the fact that maybe this doesn't follow the books exactly, we might actually see that at the end of season 5, because this is running for 5 seasons. You know what I mean?
The thing that I'm worried about is I just totally. Why is it like again, I don't know a ton of the like Silmarillion and all those other things, but it's like we're doing Sauron again. We're doing orcs again.
I gotta be honest. When they did, listen, like I said, I have not seen the original trilogy of films. I have it. I will watch it now after seeing this. It's on my list. Even it was helpful for me to get more invested because I saw a character that looked cool as fuck and is like the main villain of the whole fucking like shindig.
Of him in general.
Yeah, like I was aware of him, so now that he's an integral part of the story, well, I mean, he's the object of someone's obsession, really. But
Yeah.
now that he's incorporated in such a way, I was just like, all right, I'm in. Like I'm in. It's like what they did with the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, like the Middle Earth games, where like Sauron is the bad guy. It's like, all right, easy. Easy. I know Sauron. We got to get rid of him, right? He's a bad guy, that Sauron.
To me, it's like, can we take stories in the same world and and just not have it be about the same thing? I mean, like, it's always the same thing I said about like Hogwarts Legacy. Like it's like, okay, there's a dark wizards and a mysterious evil. It's like, okay, we're gonna do another fucking wizard Hitler again.
Yeah.
And then that Star Wars, it's like, oh, Palpatine's back. Palpatine's the bad guy again. It's like, come up with something that's different that exists in the same world. I was saying about the other day, it's like, do you think you could take did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I watched like maybe a couple episodes as a kid.
So you have the main series, and then there's the sequel series, Legend of Korra. Both are good. Obviously, the original is much better, but I like both of them. But both of them focus on.
Wait, I have seen the M. Night Shyamalan movie, right? Yeah, that shit's fucking whack.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Okay, but keep going.
So both of those shows focus on the Avatar. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'd like to see a something based in that universe that has nothing to do with the Avatar. It's just about like some benders somewhere, water benders or fire benders. So, like, just take the world and do something different. It doesn't have to be like it's every single story has to be about the Avatar every time.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many intellectual properties get caught in this cycle of, well, people like this thing about it, so we just have to keep doing it over and over and over.
Got it. Well, I mean, it's like I say about how like the Disney Star Wars should have been original trilogy, should be your original recipe. That should have everything that
That's your vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. That's your vanilla. That's what I'm saying. And then like all the new ones, like all the new shit, that's your strawberry and your chocolate. You know what I mean? You get to do all your crazy shit with that.
Yeah.
You got the one chord. No, and then
shout out to Mark Muller.
So the other thing I think that's kind of important to mention about Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, is that it's setting up a lot of stories, right? But I don't think each of them are as compelling as the next or the last. As far as
like they're all going to eventually connect, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's no way that it's not. But the other thing is just that like the Harfoot shit, I do not care. I do not care about the Harfoots.
How do you feel about the stranger?
Who even is that guy?
The giant.
Yeah, who even is he? He's a human.
Oh. Well, I have a feeling he might be like a wizard.
Is he Gandalf? Because that was kind of my thought.
I mean, I like, who knows? It'd be weird. I can't imagine them recasting Gandalf. I think it's probably just another wizard.
Jake the Wizard.
Jake the Wizard. Well, I mean, there are in the Lord of the Rings, there are 4 wizards, I believe.
Yeah, and one of them is Jake. This is him.
Jake, yeah, Jake Lloyd.
So one of the things I really do enjoy about the show specifically is how they have broken up everyone's accents and how they have broken up where they reside on like the map. Which, side note, I love the way the camera shows you the map and how it goes around and like trying to build the geography of the world in your head. Either way, though, So for instance, the the men are Americans, like the humans. The elves are British. The dwarves are Scottish. The Harfoots are Irish. Like they have all of those accents to kind of break up the culture. I just think that's a cool way to do it and still incorporate that European specificity, I guess, that Tolkien had. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That like that kind
sure.
of European like old school vibe. I fucking love that. Like that was fucking very creative, I think, on Amazon's part. I also enjoyed that in episode 2 specifically. There are some scenes that I will not give away in this non-spoiler section that you get to see some traditions of some of these cultures and how they break down and how like it works in their society, and like it comes off as just being like, oh, look at all of this set dressing, but then when you keep watching, you get to see a character like kind of break down like the differences between the races in the world and how that can have an effect on their relationship. Like I thought that
Yeah.
stuff was very powerful in the second episode.
You're talking about when they get to the dwarves.
That's a spoiler.
We were the dwarves. Already talked about that. I'm not giving anything away by saying there's dwarves.
Well, yeah. I get that like baseline, but and yeah, man, performances. I don't know who any of these actors are, which is good because that helps you connect to the character more. But even then, they're all strong performers. You know, they all got good chins. You know, good chins are important to being on camera work. You know, what about you?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the acting?
I don't think I was like blown away by anybody.
Like, whoa! But it's all great. Like it's all good shit.
I also wasn't disappointed. The only person I could point to, and I don't know if this is a him thing or just we haven't seen enough of him. Theo, the kid with the hilt of the sword. He just he was just mad about nothing, and maybe it is because he's got that sword. But like, remember, like, you hear something on the floorboard, and he's like, rats, and he just starts like whacking at the floor. It's like, whoa, dude, chill out. That reaction is not appropriate to rats.
Dude, rats are a pain in the ass. All right, we got palm rats in Florida. Okay, palm rats are not to be fucked with. Okay.
Palm rats.
Palm rats. They are. They live in the palm trees. Yeah, they do. All right. I know someone's house down here who is under siege from palm rats. Okay. They are coming. They are coming.
Part of global warming.
It's. I mean, I think it's also, dude, the wildlife down here is sick. It's just like, yeah, just be careful of snakes. Oh, where do they like to be? Just anywhere. Or like, if there's a fresh body of water, including a pool that you've already been in, you always check. You always check. If there's a fresh body of water, you have to assume there's an alligator in it. It's that type of shit.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough, bro. I'm not trying to lose my shit to an alligator.
Rules of engagement in Florida.
Pretty much. It's Wild West down here, And plus, like, when you have such a hot governor, what are you going to do? Anyway.
There's no Phil Murphy.
Was Celebrimbor in the original trilogy?
Celebrimbor. Well, I do know the name, so he must have been.
Yeah, I heard it too, but I think he might have been in an RTS based off of Lord of the Rings that I played.
Celebrimbor. It's just fun to say.
So, specifically the first episode, Galadriel's storyline, where she's on she's on this hunt for, we'll say vengeance. What'd you think of that action sequence with the troll?
It was short.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I didn't that's an objective fact. It's definitely short, but I mean, like,
it didn't really do a lot for me. What I did think was weird, it was like, it felt like it was only Galadriel fighting. It's like the rest of her party was just standing around doing nothing. I kind of sucked, but they did kind of suck. They're like, fuck you, we don't want to help anymore. We want to go home.
So there's two things I thought about that. One, I thought like, okay, this has like a Steven Summers vibe where everybody sucks, but Brendan Fraser and Hugh Jackman are going to kick ass and save everybody. Like, that's what I thought. And then number two, like, so it's like at least they're having fun. And number two was, though, I was like, listen, it's not bad, but it's just kind of a weird choice to be like, let me make my sword a ramp and you jump off of it and like soar through the air and fight the monster, as opposed to like show me like what her like battle tactics or what her like command, like her being a commander is like, you know what I
That would have
mean?
been cool.
Like be like form it, you know what I mean? Like the Amazons in fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know, we have no
Mm-hmm.
fear, like all. That's what I needed to say. Like I needed to see her be
Yeah.
like a commander, and like I already know she can win sword fights. You've
Yeah.
told like it's not even the way like we see her fight the troll. It's just you like that's the character, you know what I mean? And she's so
Mm-hmm.
fixated on one thing and she's so obsessed and she comes off like she's very arrogant, you know what I mean? But really like you're going to they're setting up her to learn some really hard lessons, you know?
Yeah.
And I think one of them is her, at least by what I've seen, I hope one of them is her ability to lead, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because her whole thing right now is just like I'm not like I don't want to say it's
It's
just like I'm the like she's the center of attention pretty much, you know what I mean?
well, I think you said like it is very arrogant. It feels like she just like just listen to me. I know what I'm doing. And even
Yeah.
though she does, it's like that's not how you win over
Yeah.
your team.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
So
you
I think
know,
you're right. It is kind of setting her up to maybe learn to be more of a team player.
maybe
Hopefully, that'd
we'll
be
see.
cool.
We'll see. The one thing I would also like to point out is that the first episode plays exactly like the first episode of Game of Thrones.
It does not mean anything to me.
It's just they all of these characters from different walks of life are getting stuff set up and then eventually
It
they come
felt like a
together.
lot of exposition.
Oh, so much. But also at the same time, I actually had the internal monologue. I was just like, I mean, how else are they going to do this? And even then,
I
like,
don't know.
everybody seemed to fucking love the opening, like, exposition CGI from Black Panther, which was cool. I like that. But, like now everybody has a problem with that style. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's
It
cool when
depends on
there's.
how it's handled because so much of the first episode was um, montage and monologue, and then like jumping from character to character. Whereas, like, let's say hypothetically, the whole first episode was just Galadriel's story. Don't go to the Harfoots. Don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just have it be that, and then maybe the next episode give us a little bit of the Harfoots. That's one way to do it, where you didn't have to spend the entire first episode in like setting up the stakes, because it's
I hate the Harfoots. I hate them.
Alexis, her take on it, and I don't disagree. Is it's like it's very predictable television writing, whereas it's like this doesn't feel to the same level of awe and wonder that the world demands.
Yes.
The original trilogy was just like the scope was so epic, and it's just like they trust the audience to just understand, to come along for the ride, and you might not know exactly what's happening, but you'll pick it up along the way.
Yeah.
This one doesn't trust the audience enough. It thinks you're an idiot, and it needs you. Here you go, stupid. Here's everything you need to know.
Well, I will say that there are other shows that I'm watching right now that do feel like they're constantly patronizing me.
Mm-hmm.
However, this show does not. You know what I'm saying?
I just like I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
That's
And like
that's how I feel about it. Is I didn't hate it.
and
It was alright.
listen, so um let's move into like episode 2 now.
Okay.
Non spoilers. And I think for as far as episode 2, they definitely stepped it up like as far as like the pacing was concerned, but there hasn't been like the first Witcher episodes, right? Every single one,
Mhm.
even the first season, like with how slow and confusing that fucking show is, it does not hold your hand at all, but it still has those punchy moments, like every single one. Season 2 stepped it up so much. Like season 2 of The Witcher is where I would tell people to start now, like if you want to watch a fucking great show, because that show never holds your hand anyway. And there's like all these like converging timelines and shit, and they never tell you. There's no text for anything. It's just like you better pick it up while we're talking, bitch.
Yep. Hold on tight.
Yeah,
We're moving.
we're moving. Um, So, um, I was expecting some of that in the second episode, and I didn't get the standout moment. That being said, there were a lot of, with the characters that we already know from setting them up in the first episode, there were a lot of really cool like choices made in this one, especially with like the lead, what she decides to do at the last like second. Which, although once again very predictable, still cool to watch. It was like handled
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean? And I think overall episode 2 is better and a step in the right direction. I was more intrigued, I was more engaged, I was, you know, I was basically, it left me wanting episode 3. And I think that's like most important. Whereas like, man, fucking She-Hulk, if I get through the other side of that, man, it'll be a fucking Guinness Book of World Record. Like
One thing that I think is worth mentioning is maybe not the whole show, but at least the Harfoot stuff, which is like for those of you who haven't seen it, is like the Hobbit stuff. It felt very much, if you've seen Dark Crystal or Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, which was the Netflix series that came out a couple of years ago, feels very much in the same tone as that, which I think, my personal preference is perfect. It's fantastical and it's whimsical and it's, fairy tales. So I really, like, for me, I know you didn't really enjoy that stuff, but for me, that was some of the most stylish and interesting parts of the show.
I mean, like, it makes sense that, like, I'm not surprised that you really like that. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised if anyone really, if that's your thing, cool. Yeah. I'm here for swords and shields and monsters and wizards and...
Listen, I like all that stuff, but I want it to be, like, drenched in fairy tale.
To be lived in,
Yeah.
Which I think so far they've got. Like, especially with, like, I mean, if there is
that lived in is the when they go to the dwarven city.
Yes.
That felt so homey, and it's like these are real characters. It's tough because like elves, you have to have a balance because they are very stoic and very like unemotional. So I know it's tough to kind of make it feel like you should care about them.
They're like the replicants from I'm Ryan Gosling. And
Ryan Gosling.
And I've been punched in the face by Harrison Ford. Yes, Blade Runner. That's the one.
Like Jared Leto.
Yes, like Jared Leto. So episode 2 is like, I feel like that, like, things are slowly like getting bigger budget. You know what I mean? Like, there's bigger sequences happening. That being said, there was that one sequence out at sea that I was like, oh, come on, really? We're doing this? Like, come on.
I think it was executed poorly, but again, what really sold me was how beautiful it looked. Yes, like, it looked awesome.
I can't get over the fact of how good it looks, and I was like, damn, when you give CGI artists time... And Amazon was like, they bought this for like $1 billion, I think, right? Like 900 million. And the show had a budget of like fucking like what? Like almost 300 something, right? Like, they had time and money, and it fucking looks incredible. Like, I can't believe that shit. Like, it looks insane. What was I gonna say about the whole sea captain thing? Not sea captain shit. The whole
sea monster.
The worm.
The worm. The sand worm.
All of that was just like, kind of, come on, get this over. I want to see, can we get to land and start like fucking up orcs, please? Come on. So
it just felt, for me, the problem was it was like, like one of the rules of like writing, screenwriting, or any kind of writing is like just boil it down to the most essential parts. And that's the way that scene was executed. Did not do that, because it's like they bring Galadriel on the boat, and then they throw her away, and she swims away, and then she comes back to the boat, where it's like, wait, we don't need all this, like, oh, now she swims away and she swims back, and like, there was just too many moving pieces on that. You could have come to an easier way to make that scene happen.
I like the whole idea that the people hate the elves because of what they did to Middle Earth.
Yeah, and I do like the one woman who pulled her up was like, hate isn't gonna get us home, or whatever, whatever she said. And then Then as soon as like the fucking worm came, she's like, "All right, well, fuck that, get off the boat.
Yeah,
You're worm food."
yeah, get the fuck out of here. But that ended up saving her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too much like in-depth stuff to say about episode 2 other than I think it's better than episode 1. I genuinely I think the pacing picked up. I think the story beats were told a little bit better. And I like the way it's going. It's not, like I said, it's not amazing. I don't like it as much as I like House of the Dragon or as much as I like The Witcher, which are other fantasy swords and sorcery shows. But it's good. It's competent. It's better than Witcher season 1, but it's not nearly as good as like Game of Thrones season 1, which I mean, like
I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Yeah, one guy just said
season 1's the only one I've ever watched the whole way through. So
we haven't mentioned him, but the guy who plays Arendir, his name is Ishmael Cruz Cordova. He's the elf that's got like the most chiseled jaw you've ever fucking seen and the stunning blue eyes. Where did they find this guy? He's too handsome.
I know.
He's too handsome.
I was so upset. I was like, damn, they got the elves are supposed to be mad beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no wonder why they didn't bring Hugo Weaving back, because that dude.
They had to replace Hugo Weaving. They're like, he's too plain looking.
They had to replace Hugo Weaving with, who was it, Jonathan Groff in The Matrix, because Hugo Weaving's too gruff. Anyway, they were like,
I get it for the joke, but it is a fucking shame that they had to replace him.
I can't. Don't even get me started on that. I had that just an intrusive thought. I was just like, they replaced Hugo Weaving for Matrix 4.
Well,
and I was like,
that was intrusive in my brain too.
So I guess the only other thing, non-spoiler. I mean, let's just rate both of the episodes. If you were to watch this non-spoiler right now, I would give this probably like a 6.5 out of 10. Like, it's good, but it's not blowing me away.
I'd give them both like a 5, just because it's just like perfectly down the middle. Like, I don't love it, I don't hate it. It was nothing. It was very nothing for me.
Interesting. Okay.
I would recommend people watch it because it is visually beautiful and hopefully it'll get more interesting. But right now, it didn't make me feel any kind of way really.
So, are you gonna watch House of the Dragon now? Because that's actually good.
Probably not. Probably not. I got too many other. I need to watch The Boys. I haven't seen The Boys. Any of The Boys.
That's actually probably my favorite out of all these. Anyway, all right. So let's just do non-spoilers. And you can. Just...
We did kind of spoil a bit here and there.
But let's just really go for it now. So,
all right. Well, you go ahead.
On the only parts I was really compelled by, like I was like, oh my god, fuck me, was the elevator scene with
yeah, holy shit, that was the best scene in the whole thing.
Yeah, with handsome Mick Handsome Face and not Ray Stevenson. Like, those two guys, they were both amazing in that scene.
Yep.
And I love the idea that the elves, like, when he was like, oh, 20 years, has that all it's been? Like, it's only been 20 years? Yep. And like, he's like, it might only be 20 years for you. You know what I mean? It's like, like,
I've lived a lifetime in those 20 years.
I got married, I had 2 kids, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah, that was like brutal, like heartbreaking shit. Yeah. And then when he like what the fuck is whatever the dwarf's name is, he brings him, the elf convinces him to let him apologize to his family, and then the wife is just like so warm and inviting, and the 2 kids with the fucking helmets on their heads, like, oh dude, like all those characters were great.
Yeah, I like them as well.
It's unfortunately we got them for like 2 scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you think about the rock breaking scene?
Okay.
That's one thing that I thought was interesting when they were doing that scene, and they had all like the fisheye close-ups of all the dwarves, like that was fun. I enjoyed.
It was very like the Hobbit first movie, like dinner scene where all 13 of those guys and Ian McKellen just lost their minds for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much like that. And I even thought to myself, I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to emulate the style of Peter Jackson too, And you want to know what? Even if they're not, I still think like it's competent like fantasy like storytelling, you know what I mean? Like, at least in that moment, You know what I mean? Like from the moment he's like, you do your job of like building belt buckles or whatever, and I'm gonna go be a politician. So I'll see you later. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah, really for me it was like the only things that got my juices pumping were in the dwarf city.
That's it? Just that that was the only thing. I mean, like, I like the I hated how they're like snow troll. I was like, come on, snow troll. That's all you guys fucking had. Like,
It's probably for the audience more than us,
yeah,
or
yeah.
more than them. Yeah.
Well, no, no, not even them just saying it. Like, if I saw a cheetah, I would be like, a cheetah. You know what I mean? Like, I would do
Yeah.
that shit too. But what I'm saying is that I wouldn't be like Middle Earth cat. You know what I mean? Like snow troll. You couldn't come up with something else like I don't know,
But just
like
give it, like, some type of
yeah,
in-universe
like
name.
give it an in like, you know, I want like that would definitely help with the immersion. You know what I mean?
I'm
Um,
I'm gonna I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that that's probably something within the mythos.
snow troll,
Yeah, I'm
bro.
sure it's probably something.
You can definitely buy snow trolls in January from like actual like from Trolls, like the movie. You know what I mean?
Snow
Like,
trolls are mentioned only once in Tolkien's work in reference to Helm Hammerhand stalking his enemies like a snow troll. So it is something that Tolkien wrote himself.
okay, fair enough. Well, we got one. Um, I thought the cliff scene looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it did. Like again, but I wasn't really compelled by it other than visually
Yeah,
it looked
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Um, the out of okay, so the characters I like right now, uh, handsome elf, uh, little Gimli, um,
That's his rap name.
yeah, little Gimli, and Galadriel. Those are really the only three I am like
What do you
interested
think
in.
about
Oh, oh, who
Elrond?
is he the black guy?
No, that's I thought that's who Handsome McHandsome was.
No, handsome McHandsome is the elf.
Okay, I for me Handsome McHandsome is Arondir the Black Elf.
Okay, okay. He's amazing too.
He's great.
He's got the really interesting mystery going on, and he was the one that got scooped out at the end. You don't know what happens to him. Like that's for us to find out in season 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean season 3 in episode 3.
Season 3.
Season 3. But that he's got a good one too. I like those four. Those are the four I like so far. The Harfoots, get the fuck out of here.
I really liked all of them. They were fun. They didn't bother me.
And the kid with the dagger, some make him less annoying or make the dagger more interesting, and I'll care.
He's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I really I liked the dad Harfoot. And for a minute I really thought he was played by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was like, he's like he sounds like Flea.
He's gonna be it. I mean, Flea was in Obi-Wan too, so maybe.
Oh yeah, he
He
was.
was, yeah. You didn't think about that, did you? Oh,
Or
actually, speaking of Disney Plus, by the way, if you have a Disney Plus, first of all, Disney
oh,
Plus
why
is
haven't we been calling it DP this whole time?
what?
Disney Plus.
Oh,
Let's call
DP.
it DP.
So
Could you
if
just
you have, yeah, if you
I,
have,
I love DP.
if you have DP, dude, I watch DP all the time. I love DP. It's the best. Anyway, so if you have DP at Disney, you get 25% off. So if you have a subscription to DP,
25 off your ticket?
yes.
Holy shit, that's a game changer actually.
Yeah, dude, DP. All right, DP. Damn, 25%. I didn't
Keep
take
saying it.
I didn't take that fucking off. I mean that deal because I didn't know about it until earlier today. But I would like to calculate how much money I would have saved.
More than Geico, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so what else is there?
Not much. There's really not much story yet.
The worm shit. The worm scenes. Let's talk
The
about
worm.
First of all, like I like the fact that they're actually in water. However, they're definitely like in it looks good for foggy ocean, but it also feels like kind of like in a tank vibe. You know what I mean?
So for me, that it kind of felt like magical. You know what I mean? It didn't look like our ocean. It looked otherworldly. So
Yeah.
I was cool with that.
Yeah, it was fine. Um, but the worm was like so. I was you know what it kind of like I thought maybe it should play like a little bit like the Kraken from like Pirates 2. Remember that how like the lore was built up for it, and then the
I don't really
fucking
remember that.
and then like the Kraken from Pirates 2. You don't remember that at all?
It's been a long time.
Well, I guess we'll have to rewatch those movies too.
I would be so down to watch those movies.
Anyway, I guess my point is that like it looked good for a spooky ocean, but it also had like that we're in a tank in studio vibe. I think for that scene specifically, and I think the worm was kind of a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? But also I get it. They're trying to get to the fucking point, and like Galadriel on a fucking raft with some random guy is not interesting. Like by episode 3, I'm sure they'll be back on land. You know what I mean?
They let end of this episode they were washed up.
That's right. That's
Oh
right.
no, they weren't washed. They were at a boat.
Okay.
They were at the bottom of a boat. So we'll see.
Yes.
The worm stuff. I thought it was okay. Just okay.
The wizard man from the comet.
The stranger.
The stranger. Some needs to happen with him. Him just eating shells is not. That's what I feel like. That storyline is like for kids. You know, that's how I feel.
I think it's for like the Lost type of TV show watchers. You know what I mean? Like people who want oh, what is this mystery? You know, like a fucking J.J. Abrams mystery box. I feel like it's for those type of people.
I mean, is that what you're into?
Me personally, no, but I am intrigued to know more about him. My interest is piqued. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what I'm not interested for. More of Galadriel going after fucking Sauron. It's just a race to Lord of the Rings. Let's do Lord of the Rings. It's like, no, how about you tell your own fucking story?
Nah, dude, I'm all for Galadriel going after Sauron. I can't wait to see that bitch again. Not Galadriel, Sauron. Like, I want to see what he's like in combat with his big old mace and the big old eye and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think that will play into this.
You don't think so?
This is probably pre-eye. But again, I don't know that much about the lore, so.
Yeah, me either. All right, well, I mean, we can end it here. I like I said, I think it's good. It's not great, but it looks to be getting better.
It looks to be getting better. I'm hopeful.
Listen,
I'm hopeful.
I got through the first season of The Witcher. Okay,
you want a medal.
It's not bad, but my God, it is a chore. Okay, it's hard. It's rough. They don't hold your hand.
How long are those episodes?
I think like 50 to 60 minutes.
Which these are roughly about the same.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that said, thanks everybody for listening. Once again, you can check us out. PressAnyKey.tv. All of our Instagram is PressAnyKey. Our Instagram is PressAnyKeyTV. Our Twitter, PressAnyKeyTV. Our TikTok, PressAnyKeyTV.
You're saying that too much.
I know. And it's almost like I could get a graphic, you know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just saying things.
You bitch.
But yeah, so thanks so much, and we will see you proper next week. We will
Thank
see you
God.
proper in studio, full shebang. We're going for it.
Mike Burke is coming back.
He was already back. It was that was gone.
Well, now you're gone. So all's well that ends well.
That's right. So, all right. Well,
one hand in the bush is worth two in the bird.
That's right. God, I hate how that came back. Anyway, thanks. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.